Hello, welcome to my live. I went live yesterday. I had so much fun. I decided to do it again. I'm just waiting for folks to get here. I didn't announce it as early today, but I decided to do it a little earlier for people on the East Coast. Hello. Let's see. We got Tens Junkie. Hello. Welcome to my live stream. I was just saying I had so much fun yesterday. I decided to do it again. I figured today we could talk about not just 3i Atlas, but also Starseeds. And we can also talk about the Circus if you want. We can talk about all kinds of things. Okay, we got Arizona in the house, Florida. Great to see you all. Thanks for joining. Thanks for joining. Thanks for supporting my channel. Thanks for liking and commenting and all the things that you do. I really appreciate it. Hello, Detroit, Atlanta, Colorado, Illinois. Good to see you. Illinois is my home state. Arizona, I'm going there next week. Los Angeles in the house. Woohoo! I'm also here. What does that say? Douglasville, Georgia, Delaware, Ohio, Clearwater, Santa Fe, New Mexico. Nice. So I thought we'd talk more today about 3i Atlas and a little bit more about Starseeds because I've made some posts about Starseeds, but I haven't really had a chance to talk a lot about Starseeds, and I haven't talked about it yet in a live. Wisconsin, Ohio, good to see you. Texas, welcome everybody. Thanks for joining my live. Albuquerque, Minnesota. I'm also a Midwesterner. I've only been to Minnesota once, but I had some friends in college, in grad school, who were from Minnesota, who I really liked. They were brothers and they were skateboarders. Yeah, so I thought I'd talk more about Starseeds today. I didn't see anything new today about 3i Atlas, but put it in the comments if you saw something I didn't see. I was looking a little bit, and the thing is, it's so hard to find news about 3i Atlas because there's a lot of people making videos and they're just using AI and they're just making up stuff. And so it's so hard to figure out, what's the real stuff. But of course, you have to look for people who are citing studies, who are, like Dobsonian Power, that Tiago on that channel. He's really good about that. Like he always will cite. He'll show you the study that he's talking about. He doesn't just say, "Oh, here's an image of 3i Atlas, looks like a spaceship," and then without telling you where the image came from. And then he always tells you. And so that's the challenge: is finding finding sources that are reliable when it comes to not just 3i Atlas, but everything really, right? So welcome everybody. Good evening. So I look at, at the reprints, the preprints, like in astrophysics, there's a site you can go to. I did mention this yesterday, but I'm sure there's new people here today. And so let me see if I can pull that up. So there's a site you can go to, and let me see if I have it. It's called like here it is, ariv.org. And this is where scientists can kind of publish before they publish, because to publish, you have to have your article peer-reviewed. I'm going to put it in the comment. So this is the like the link to a place you can go to get preprints. And so people are doing research and they're waiting for it to get peer-reviewed and accepted into a journal, and that could take months. And so they post it up on this website. And it just gives, other scientists a chance to kind of read over it and think about it. And yes, so Javen said, "Oh, look at how do we Yay. How do we rate 2 days in a row? Yeah, I had so much fun yesterday with the live. I said, oh, I'm going to do it again today because that was so much fun. And I did used to do a lot of lives. For a while, I was doing lives every day on TikTok, and I really enjoyed that too. So I'm just starting to do lives over here on YouTube. So yeah, I thought I'd try it again. So yeah, I've been talking in several videos about 3i Atlas and about, why the space agencies aren't releasing info and what does that mean? And then I've also been talking about my own experiences channeling 3i Atlas and what I've learned from, talking directly to the being. And then I've also talked a little bit about Starseeds. So I wanted to talk more about Starseeds today. And I just say, oh yeah, super chat. Oh, I got to put that up. Thank you for the super chat. I love super chat. Thank you, Eloha. I am Eloha. Eloa. I am Eloa. Thank you for the super chat. So fun. So yeah, people can give super chats or super, I don't know. There's different ways you can donate. Yeah, is NASA scared? Why aren't we hearing from NASA? Why aren't we hearing from the European Space Agency? Why aren't we hearing from the other space agencies? You know, so these are some of the questions I have. So let's talk about starseeds. Colonel Mustang wanted to add their definition. They say that starseeds are more spiritually advanced than normal humans. I'm going to disagree with that. Because first of all, I don't like it when we make these kind of comparisons with these hierarchies, like, oh, I'm more advanced than you, or you're more. No. There are a lot of different ways to be spiritually advanced, and you don't have to be a starseed to be spiritually advanced. You can be a light worker. You can be someone who's just had many, many incarnations, right? An old soul who's learned a lot from all your mistakes. There's a lot of different ways to be spiritually advanced. So, and I'm somebody who I'm a medical intuitive, I'm a psychic medium, and I also have a background in astrophysics, and I'm a philosopher. So I used to be a philosophy professor, but then I had to get out of academia and become a full-time healer. And so that's some of my background and some of what informs the way I think. I come at things from a lot of different directions. I believe in logic, I believe in empirical data, and I believe in intuitive data. I believe that the information we get intuitively or mystically is also valuable and just as valuable as anything that we attain through the scientific method or through logic. I am myself a star seed. And so I'm going to talk about my understanding of what a star seed is based on my experience, not just my life, but my experience working with clients. So I'm going to take that down. Because now I realize putting up your comment is looking like I endorse it. Yeah. So what is a star seed? A star seed is somebody who has origins in another star system, and that could be physically or spiritually or both. And so spiritually, it could be that you have past lives on another star system, and maybe this is your first incarnation on Earth. And so I have, as a practitioner, I do medical intuition. I also read the Akashic records. I've had a lot of people come to me to find out about their life purpose, and I will go into the Akashic records and sit in on their pre-life conference where they're making decisions about their life and the life that they're about to incarnate into. And that's where I've met a lot of star seeds who, it turns out that instead of them having like a life purpose the way other humans do, they have a life mission that they got from their home star system or home planet. And so star seeds, they just tend to have a different experience than other humans. Every human has a purpose for their life. And some people have very spiritually advanced purposes. Some humans do. Others have, simpler purposes that are just because they want to learn something or teach something. Some of us came here to, shift the consciousness of the whole planet, right? So some of us have more spiritual purposes that are about larger groups of people, and others of us have purposes that are about just like our family, or maybe just our community, or just developing our own consciousness. And so a starseed, what makes starseeds different from other beings on planet Earth is that they either have had past lives on another planet, or they're physically a hybrid, and they're actually like, genetically their DNA is part human and part star being from somewhere else. And so starseeds, there is a large percentage of starseeds who are here because they came to help raise the consciousness of planet Earth. They came to help humanity. They came to help the whole planet evolve. And so I think that's what Colonel Mustang was talking about, that there is a percentage of starseeds who are here to be of service. But there are also a lot of humans who aren't starseeds who are here to be of service. Sometimes we call them light workers. There are different types of souls who came here to help. But starseeds are usually here for one of two reasons, from what I've seen. They're either here to help shift the consciousness, to help humanity evolve, or they're just here to collect data to send back to their home planet because their home planet is just curious about humans. Humans are a really interesting species. A lot of other star beings find us interesting because we have emotions and free will. And there are a lot of planets where they don't have emotions. And so we're, part of the reason why we have so much, violence is because we have free will. That's part of the reason. Doesn't mean that if you have free will, you're automatically going to become violent, but that's the path we chose. Not all of us, right? A percentage of us. But I want to speak to this other question from J-Pow. Aren't we all originally starseeds? But I really hope to. I'm going to get some super chats and some other super donations. So if I get one, I found out last night, if I get a super chat, then I answer your question first. So as soon as I see one, here's one. This is not a question though. Kathleen O'Malley, thank you for the super chat. I don't know if it's a super chat, super donation, whatever it is, it's awesome. I appreciate it, because when I get donations, that means I get to spend more time doing this and not stress about paying my bills. And it also just it's kind of like your work, the universe is working through you, telling me to keep doing this. So I appreciate that. But back to the question that was up there earlier, aren't we all starseeds? So that's another theory that some people have. It's an ancient alien theory, this idea that the Earth was seeded by aliens, or by, I don't use the word alien, but, extraterrestrials, people from other places actually came and created humans or started the human race here. And so if you believe in that theory, then you might believe that all humans are starseeds. I don't think that really, that's really the correct use of the word starseed. I think that you can believe that, that we were originally seeded by somebody, oh, we got a new member. Woohoo! Thank you. You can believe that we were seeded by a different species, but that doesn't really change the fact that there are now certain people here at this time in our history who are here specifically as starseeds to help shift the consciousness, right? So I feel like using that term, it makes more sense to apply it to those who are incarnating here now, because they have kind of a special mission. And I think it helps people to get clarity about who they are and what their mission is when they start identifying as a starseed. So I was told quite a while ago by some of my star being family that now, I was told this a few years ago, that now is the time for starseeds to start coming together and start identifying themselves and forming groups and stepping fully into that path. And so I used to do different starseed gatherings in person, and classes and stuff. And so it's something that's interesting to me, kind of people getting clarity on being a starseed. And so the starseed issue came up in the context of Three Eye Atlas, because when I was talking to my star family about Three Eye Atlas, and I asked, who are they speaking to? Because they were talking about how they're really focused on sending data to the scientists. And I said, well, can't they talk to someone besides the scientists? Because the scientists are gatekeeping. They're not telling us anything. They're afraid. They don't believe in aliens. How about talking to some other people? And they said, no, they are. They're talking to starseeds, and they're talking to spiritual leaders and light workers. And, they're talking to a lot of people. And so there are a lot of people online who are saying, oh yeah, I'm tuning in to Three Eye Atlas. I'm also talking to them. And of course, we don't all get the same information, but some of us are getting the same information, which is interesting. People have been telling me that, I tuned in and felt that it was a sentient rock, and that it was connecting to the plants and the animals and the rocks on planet Earth, and also the other life forms. And then there have been other people who've also picked that up. Some people think that it's a spaceship with like beings in it. And of course, some people think it's just a comet, even though it doesn't really fit a lot of the criteria for a comet. So some people in the comments are talking about, thank you, Beej, for this lovely message. People in the comments are talking about some of the people you can also watch, like Stephen Burns. He talks about astronomy, astrology, spirituality. There aren't a lot of people. Oh, what's a super chat? I just learned super chat last night when I did my, oh, look, is there another one? Oh, I'm missing them. Okay. Oh, I don't know how to put you up here. Heather Talley, thanks for becoming a member. I'm trying to put you on the screen, but it's not showing up. A super chat is some way that you can donate to me, apparently. And I don't know how to do it. Someone can maybe put in the comment, how do people do a super chat? But it's a way for you to donate, and then you can also ask a question. So if you donate in a super chat and you ask a question, then I'm going to answer your question first. So it's a way to support the channel and to also get your question answered, which is kind of fun. So Stephen Burns is a geophysicist and a spiritualist. So we're kind of similar in that way. I mean, I am not a geophysicist. I'm not a physicist, but I have a degree in physics. And I used to be an engineer, and then I went on, got another degree in history, and then I got another degree in philosophy. I became a philosophy professor. And then I left academia and became a full-time healer, medical intuitive. I'm also a psychic medium. So I'm one of the people, probably like him, who likes to combine, spiritualism and science and logic. I like to combine them. So according to Kathleen O'Malley, our new member, you can go to the $sign and the super chat shows up. Okay. It makes your questions stand out, is what Tom Seasalt says. And, we got another person saying, hit the $sign in the right bottom of the screen. Look at all these helpful people. Oh, yeah. I don't know. I had a mod, and I do have some mods, but I think I have to let them know that I'm doing a live before I do a live. And today I just was like, I'm just going to do a live. So might not have my mods here. So I don't work with, I was trying to put this question up. Spencer's asking, how can we contact you if we want to help finding out about our starseed history? So I'm not working with clients right now. I'm on a little sabbatical from seeing clients, and I'm just writing books and teaching classes and doing all this video posting. because that's what my guides want me to do. Okay, this I totally agree with. So Melissa on the West Coast said, I had a lucid dream last night telling me that the most efficient way to raise your frequency is to be of service to others, show up for local nonprofits. I wholeheartedly agree with this. Because thank you, KW, for becoming a member. I do sometimes give people a list of things you can do to raise your vibration. And that is one of the things that I recommend, that you be of service for other people. It can really help your to raise your vibration. And so, like, if you're trying to meditate, you're trying to develop your psychic gifts, and you're looking for ways to kind of keep your vibration high, because if you can keep your vibration high, it's going to be easier for you to tap into your gifts. And it's also going to make it so you can have a more kind of reliable results. Because whenever our vibration is low, or we're like emotionally stressed out, or we're in an environment that's not really, good for us, that can make it hard for us to connect to our higher self, or to our spirit guides, or our ancestors. And so we always want to be looking for ways to keep our vibration up. And so, yeah, being of service to others really does help with that. Being of service in whatever way you can. But when we say be of service, we don't mean like your family, because families have all kinds of weird dynamics. And a lot of times when we're helping people in our family, it's out of a sense of obligation. So that doesn't have the same high vibration, right? If my family's expecting me to cook for them, and then I cook for them, they don't even really appreciate that I cook for them. And it's something that I just do, not because I really want to do it, but just because I feel like I have to. That's not really the same, right? And so when we're talking about acts of service, we really mean, like, can you engage in acts of service where there's no obligation, where there's no complicated relationship, right? Like, can you just, donate, or can you go volunteer at a nonprofit, or, like right now, something that we all might want to do is get into mutual aid societies, or to donate to food banks, because we're dealing with like SNAP benefits being possibly taken away from 40 million people in this country who are then going to be, hungry. And so we need them. We need to help them out. And so I shouldn't say it like that. We don't need to help them out, but we have this opportunity to help them out. And that's what service is. It's like you have this opportunity to help people. And it's, we might think, oh, I'm doing it for them, but you're really doing it for yourself too, because it's raising your vibration. It's making you a better person. It's tapping you into higher vibrations, which will affect everything else in your life. Whenever you help other people, it has a positive impact on your life. We have a Tam Sea Salts. Thanks for the super. Is that a super chat? Thanks for the super chat of $10. So here's the question. Have you heard the telepathy tapes? And what do you think of autistics as mystics? I think we are the next step evolutionary. So you asked the question and you gave your answer. I do agree with you. Let's answer the first part of the question before I answer the second part. Okay. I have heard the telepathy tapes. I heard season 1. I think season 2 just started, so I haven't started season 2 yet, but I think they have 1 or 2 episodes out. So I got to catch those. For those who haven't listened to it, I highly recommend it. It's some people who were scientists who were interested in rumors they had heard from the parents of nonverbal autistics that their children were able to communicate telepathically. So they decided to investigate this. And so they took a bunch of cameras and tape recorders and they set up, like a scientific approach to kind of testing this out. And they thought they were this is the thing about, science. Like, you think you have a hypothesis, right? And you think, oh, I'm going to test out this hypothesis. So I'm going to design my study to collect data in this particular way to determine whether or not this hypothesis is true. And the hypothesis was nonverbal autistic children are telepathic, right? So that's what they were trying to find out. But what happened was they found out all of this other amazing stuff. that wasn't just about psychic gifts, it was also about spirituality and really about the nature of existence. So yeah, I do highly recommend it. Um, and what they found was there were a lot of nonverbal autistics, and this doesn't apply to all autistics, but they were only looking at nonverbal autistics, and they found that a lot of them were telepathic. Um, and so the second question is, do I think autistics are the next step evolutionarily? Um, I'm going to say not necessarily in the way that you're phrasing it, but I think that what I've been told may be similar to what your understanding is. So the telepathy tapes is very exciting to me because several years ago, I got some guidance from one of my guides about what are called squid people. And what I was told, so I have a group of guides. I have like 12 guides, and then I have ancestors and angels I work with, and they all work with me in different ways. And some of the guides are star beings, so some of them talk to me about other star systems, and they all talk to me about different things. So this particular one was from the squid people, like these are like a species of being that looks like a squid or an octopus. And some of them live on planet Earth, but they're not from here. They're from another star system. And so I was able to talk to them because I'm related to them. And what they said is that sometimes they incarnate on planet Earth and they live in the sea, as squid or octopus or whatever, octopi. But sometimes they incarnate into humans. And they talked about how there are some human beings who appear to be severely disabled. And, well, I shouldn't say appear to be. I would say that within our physical realm, they are physically disabled. They are unable to do certain things that most humans can do. So they either can't speak, or they can't walk, or they can't talk, or they have different issues with the physical body. And what they said is there's a lot of very highly advanced souls who choose to incarnate into bodies like this because the bodies that have a lot of these issues require a lot of care. And so if you incarnate into one of these bodies, whether you're a nonverbal autistic who can't really communicate or kind of live independently, or you're someone who's a paraplegic, or there are different ways this can manifest. You're born into a body where just having a physical existence on planet Earth in that type of body requires you to get assistance from other people, right? So like nonverbal autistics have to have a lot of care, right? Their parents, and in the tapes, it's usually the mothers, right? They're like doing 24-hour care with these autistic children, right? Nonverbal autistic children, right? There's different kinds of autism. And so these particular children, they really can't do anything without like 24-hour care. And so because of that, they're kind of set up in a way where they can be a teacher and have like a captive audience. That's how it was explained to me. And this is also true of people with other types of disabilities, like if they're, a quadriplegic, or have other types of conditions where they require a lot of care from other people. So the caretakers then become the students of these highly advanced souls who have incarnated into these disabled bodies. So these are what my guide called the squid people. And when I first heard the telepathy tapes, I thought, oh, this sounds like squid people. These are some of these highly advanced souls who have incarnated into nonverbal autistic bodies where they require constant care from their family and other healthcare professionals. And they're highly advanced beings. And they're just kind of finding this out in the telepathy tapes because they're learning how to communicate telepathically with these children. So I think what's really exciting about the telepathy tapes is that it's just kind of getting more and more people to think about and talk about psychic gifts, to talk about different ability levels and what they mean, to talk about the connection between spirituality and disability, to talk about, mysticism and how we can, connect with other realms. And so I think it's really exciting that this work. So thanks for your question, Tom. That was a super chat question. Did I already put this one up? I did. So I was just telling people I'm taking super chat questions first. Okay. I'm going to answer Kathy O'Malley since she's a member and she donated. She's got lots of questions. I love this. So Kathy O'Malley, I feel that we all have had telepathic experiences, like when you think of your pet dog and the dog comes right to you. This experience has happened to me for years. How about you and your pets? I don't think we're all telepathic. Maybe because you think everyone is. And not all of us have that connection with our pets. I can tell you that I have had that telepathic connection with a lot of wild animals. I don't have it as much with domesticated animals. I did have a dog, however, who I did have a telepathic relationship with. And, a lot of people do have that. I think a lot of children, when I was a child, my sisters and I had a telepathic relationship, but I do come from a family with a lot of psychic gifts. I think that, babies probably are naturally telepathic because they're just recently arrived from the other world. Also, when people are close to dying, I think they start to, again, develop, find it easier to connect with the other side. But, we all have different gifts. And, a lot of people are really fascinated by certain gifts. And these are the gifts that are portrayed in like superhero movies a lot: telepathy and telekinesis. And I've done some YouTube videos on this a long time ago. I was told by my guides not to teach telepathy or telekinesis because they're too dangerous in the wrong hands, that if people are not moral beings, they could use those to abuse power. And we see that all the time in the superhero movies, right? The villain is always like using telekinesis to throw people to their death, or using telepathy to invade people's minds and control them, right? And so we are, as humans, kind of a little overly interested in certain gifts which make us feel powerful. And telekinesis and telepathy are two of those gifts. But they're not maybe the most useful gifts in terms of being of service to others, right? Having a healing gift is much more helpful if you can help people to heal. Being able to talk to spirit, being a psychic medium, and then being able to use that gift to comfort the grieving, that's a very useful gift to have. Being a precog or a seer and being able to see into the future and being able to warn people about things to come, that can be very useful. That can also be misused, right? You can use that gift to try to manipulate circumstances. I mean, all gifts can be abused. But I do think that telepathy is growing as a gift, and that the reason why people are so interested in the telepathy tapes is not just because a lot of people who tune into telepathy tapes probably don't know it's about autistics, right? I think some people are tuning in because they're interested in autistics, but others are just really fascinated with the idea of mind-to-mind communication. I do think in the future, a lot more of us, will be telepathic, and that probably will be the norm in the future, that everybody will just communicate telepathically. When you are on the other side, like I've gone to the other side, you can go to the other side in a near-death experience. You can go there in an out-of-body experience. I've gone to the other side quite a bit, and on the other side, everything is communicated telepathically. When I communicate with spirits, it's all telepathically. And so it kind of makes sense. It kind of feels like this is probably the way we're supposed to communicate, right? And I think that we're probably moving in that direction. So the question I was asked earlier, like, is this an evolutionary move? I think it is. I just don't think that it's maybe accurate to say that autism is an evolutionary move, like, as a blanket statement. That feels too general for me. just like ADHD, like I have ADHD, like neurodivergence. Some people's like, oh, it's evolutionary. And I kind of have a problem with that idea because it feels hierarchical to me, like, oh, some people are more advanced than others. I think we're just all different, and we have different kind of styles of being in the world. And we're entering this new time in our society where we're starting to recognize that, different isn't less than, right? And so I think that's important, to stop thinking of everything as a disability, as something that's a deficit, right? Like, obviously people who are autistic have gifts, right? There are gifts that come with being autistic, like pattern recognition, and in some cases telepathy, right? And other psychic gifts. People with ADHD, right? Pattern recognition and the ability to hyper focus. And, there's certain gifts that come with these neurodivergences. And so I don't think of them as evolutionary in the sense that everybody is headed that way, because I don't believe in that. But I do think the way that we're evolving as humans, as we're starting to recognize that there are lots of different ways to be in the world, and there are lots of different strengths that different people have because their brains work in different ways. All right. Do we have any more super chat questions? Okay. Was Stephen Hawkins? Yes, I believe Stephen Hawkins. And also, example I often give is Christopher Reeves. That these were squid people. These were people who incarnated intentionally into bodies that weren't functioning physically because it allowed them to have a bigger impact on humanity, right? So Stephen Hawkins was a famous physicist who had a condition that rendered him a quadriplegic, and he also had to use a machine to talk. So he was very physically limited and very smart. And the fact that he had that type of body, that he was in a wheelchair and he had this funny machine generated voice, it caused people to pay attention to him. And I think it allowed him then to have more of an impact. Same with Christopher Reeves. He was Superman. He played Superman in the movies, and then he became a quadriplegic, paralyzed from the waist down, from the neck down. And he was able to kind of raise people's consciousness about different issues because he was a celebrity who was kind of a symbol of superhuman strength, and then he became paralyzed. And so it was this really interesting, paradox that helped him to help people. Yeah, they weren't born like that, either one. Okay, that's a good point. So you don't have to be born in a certain kind of body for it to be a part of your life purpose or your soul purpose. Right. And so that's something, as a medical intuitive, I've just learned that from working with lots of different clients, where when I go to the Akashic Records to find out, why does this person have this condition? Conditions can be, any kind of physical condition, whether it's an illness or disability, can be caused by physical causes, emotional causes, and spiritual causes. When it's a spiritual cause, it's usually about the purpose of the soul. And so a soul will sign up and say, oh, I'm going to develop this condition. And those are two examples where I'm going to lose the following functions. And this is going to help me to fulfill the purpose I incarnated for. And then sometimes people choose to be born with a particular condition in order to help further whatever their purpose is. So thank you for your questions. Any more super chats? I'm looking for more questions. Here's a Unreal Real Estate, Unreal Estate Agent. Unreal Estate Agent. So you're an agent of the estate of the unreal. Okay. Says being nearsighted, it caused my mind's eye to be stronger. So that's another related topic, is how a disability in one part of your body can cause you to develop heightened abilities in other parts of your body. And sometimes it can help you to develop intuitive gifts, right? So like there are people who are blind who have really, they're expert at psychometry. And so there are people who are blind who can pick up a dollar bill or a bill, a piece of money, and they can feel what the money is. They can tell you, oh, this is a $10, this is a £5 note, this is right? Just by feeling it. Well, feeling something and knowing something about it is a psychic gift called psychometry. And so some blind people develop that psychic gift. And then, of course, some blind people they develop really acute hearing. Um, and I have an example. I have some hearing loss, and what I noticed with my hearing loss is it made me a better listener because my hearing loss it comes and goes. And so I had to learn how to adapt. I'm in a situation and someone's talking to me. And so I learned how to speech read. And that required me to just really super focus on the person's, face and body language, right? In order to understand what they were saying, because I couldn't hear what they were saying. And so, one of the benefits for me was I became a more kind of active listener. Like, people love it when you're just really engrossed in what they're saying. You're really staring at them while they're speaking. But for me, it started out as a compensation because I couldn't hear them. So yeah, there are benefits that come out of what we think of as disabilities. So it looks like we're still talking about the autistic telepaths. Tam wants to give us some information that apparently the neurons in the brains, I assume you're talking about the brain, the neurons in their brains are many times the normal cell membranes, so they can act like transmitters and receptors. That's interesting. I don't know about that. But I do think that, I think as a society, we're really benefiting right now, right, from some of the superpowers of autistics and ADHDers, right? I mean, like, look at online, how we have all these sleuths. Like, we don't have news anymore, right? And we have to figure things out for ourselves because we can no longer rely on the news. And so for entertainment purposes only, this is my opinion. So what do we have? We have all these internet sleuths, people who just have a way of figuring things out, pattern recognition, doing research, right? And tracking down stuff. And a lot of those people are people who are diagnosed autistic or ADHD, neurodivergence, who have special pattern recognition, special hyperfocus, right? When you have hyperfocus, you can, attach yourself to a topic and you can learn so much about it in a very short amount of time. This is like a superpower, right? And I think we're all benefiting from the neurodivergent superpowers right about now. Thank you. Shiny, hit the button and subscribe. I appreciate that. Okay, there's a question about Starseeds. So for those who just logged in, I don't only have one topic tonight. I did a live yesterday on 3i Atlas. I had so much fun, I decided to do another live today. But my topic, I said, was Starseeds and 3i Atlas, Circus, etc. So we can talk about all kinds of things. But we have been talking about Starseeds. So let me say a little bit more. Oh, Becca. Becca's been, I think Becca follows me on TikTok too. I feel like I've seen Becca's name a lot. So welcome, Becca. Thanks for the question. What advice would you give a starseed who knows not what mission they have? Well, the key is going to be to, connect to your star beings, your star family. And there's a lot of different ways you can do that. You can go see a hypnotist and they can help you with that. So, that's one of the things that helped me is I read all of Dolores Cannon's books on quantum. She used this technique called quantum healing hypnosis technique. And she would regress people not just to their past lives, but also to the between lives and also to their lives on other planets. And so if you haven't read Dolores Cannon, I highly recommend her books. I found them really fascinating. She has 18 books. I read them all about, 15, 20 years ago. And so then I started working with a hypnotherapist who was trained in her method. And it really helped me because I had all of these, guides in my life. And I had kind of a sense of being from somewhere else, but I also had some fears of ETs and, I had some emotional stuff I needed to work through. And so I was working with a therapist who was also a hypnotherapist, and she was able to use that technique to help me to connect with my star family. And so that's one way you can do it, is to work with a hypnotherapist. And so there's like the quantum healing hypnosis technique. You can find a directory online of people who practice that. Also, Brian Weiss, who wrote several books, Many Lives, Many Masters, and Only Love is Real. And I think there's one more. He was also a therapist who was a hypnotherapist, and he trained people, I think, in his methods. So you can also look for people trained by Brian Weiss. And then there was another person I recommend, Michael Newton. Michael Newton also wrote a number of books. One of them was called Lives Between Lives, but he has a few others. And so he specialized in regressing people to their pre-life and post-life meetings with their guides on the other side, where they would kind of debrief about the life they just lived or plan the next life. That's the kind of work that I do when I work with clients. I'm not currently working with clients. I'm on a break from that. But I did that. I went to the Akashic Records, and I was able to view people's pre-life conferences. So Michael Newton also trained people. He had a Newton Institute. I don't know if I think there's still a Newton Institute, where they train people how to regress people to those in-between life times. And that's going to be really helpful for you, Becca, because it's during those before life meetings that we find out what our purpose is, what our mission is as a starseed. And so I've done that with a lot of starseeds. Unfortunately, I'm not seeing clients right now, but I have had starseeds come to me, and I would go to their pre-life conference and find out what their mission is. So you can try working with somebody who does, regression hypnotherapy. Another thing you can do is you can just start. You can use recordings on YouTube, or Brian Weiss has some recordings. HemiSync has recordings where you can kind of hypnotize yourself with just a recording with a an MP3 CD that you buy. So HemiSync, let me put that in here. Hopefully you guys are taking notes with all this info. But yeah, HemiSync, you can get one of their recordings and self-hypnotize. You could also just keep meditating and do the type of meditation where you ask that question. So that's the type of meditation I do. There's lots of ways to meditate. And one way to meditate is, and I forget what it's called. There is a name for it, where you go into meditation with a question, and then you seek to get the answer in the meditation. And so you could also do that on a regular, just keep doing that every day. Go into meditation. Now, if you don't meditate now, you want to start meditating, because if you don't have a meditation practice already, then you want to develop that, because the more you meditate, the deeper you're going to go into meditation, the more relaxed you're going to get. And the more you meditate, the more you'll be able to start kind of using meditation to connect to your higher self, connect to your guides, ask questions, right? I like to use music. I think especially when you're starting out as a meditator, it's easier to meditate with either a guided meditation or music than with silence. I do meditate in silence, but I also meditate with music sometimes. It depends. But it's really, you want to progress. Like when I first started, I meditated in a group. I think that's the easiest thing, is to be in a guided meditation in a group, like go to a yoga studio or go to a spiritual center and or go online. SRF has online meditations, which are free. SRF. It's weird that you ask me a question, but then we can't have the back and forth. Like I always questions for Becca now, like, do you meditate? I have all these questions for you. So SRF, what is it called? Self-Realization Fellowship is a type of spiritual center. And they have, what are they called? Temples, ashrams? I don't know. In LA, I think they're all over. This is Yogananda's organization. So if you've ever read Autobiography of a Yogi by Yogananda, This was the group that, he formed when he came over from India. I highly recommend that book, Autobiography of a Yogi. I'm trying to see if it's nearby. I can show it to you. Oh, I don't think it is. So here's the thing. You can go to their website, Self-Realization Fellowship. Just Google it. And they have free meditations throughout the day. And I like their meditations. They have chanting and some music and then some silence. And I think it's a good way to learn how to meditate. There's so many ways to learn how to meditate. Just go on YouTube and listen to meditation, videos. I have some on my YouTube as well, that I've done guided meditations. You can probably find one specifically for starseeds. And then finally, a third way you can get your answer. It's a very long answer to your question. For people who have just logged in, the question was, I'm a starseed, but I don't know what my mission is. How do I find out? I said, you can work with a past life therapist, hypnotherapist, and get regress and find out. You can meditate. You can use a guided hypnosis, self-hypnosis script. I guess I've given 3 ways already. Go to a hypnotherapist, use a self-hypnosis script that you can buy from HemiSync or get on YouTube or from any different companies, or meditate yourself and just put the question in the meditation. And the 4th way is to ask for a dream. So before you go to bed at night, and just you might have to do this like every night for a couple weeks. And be patient. Don't expect answers immediately. It might take a while, but just keep asking that question every night. Keep a notebook and a pen right next to your bed or in your bed. You don't want to get up and try to write it down. You want to, as soon as you open your eyes, you start writing. You can even write with your eyes closed. That's what I sometimes do. And you might get an answer in your dream. Someone said stop moving papers around. Oh yeah, I got some papers over here. So you don't want me to ruffle those? I guess those are near the mic. Okay. All right. So the person with ADHD is not allowed to fidget. Is that what you're telling me? Okay. Any more questions? Any more super chats? You can ask me a super chat question. Okay. Okay, I'm just looking for other questions. Clear empathy. It's also called clairsentience. All right, I'm just looking for other questions. Is ADHD a superpower? I think it is. There's a lot of different superpowers, So here's a recommendation for a meditation from Elle. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about 3i Atlas. I also like Insight Timer. It's a good app for meditation. I recommend that as well. Here we go. This person agrees with me that you can get information in your dream. This person said they use my meditations on my channel. Oh, Becca, it's you. I don't have one on Starseed mission, though. I have to create one, apparently, because of your question. I'm going to have to create a guided meditation for how to learn your Starseed mission. You know what can be helpful, too, is just hanging out with other Starseeds, going to Starseed events, reading about Starseeds. Whenever you do that with any topic, it's like you're signaling to the universe that you're really serious about something. And then the universe starts sending you more of whatever that thing is, So if you start watching a lot of videos on a particular topic or reading books on a particular topic or hanging out, with people who are interested in a certain thing, it's going to cause you to get more and more information. And so you will start having probably more dreams and more insights about that topic, because you've kind of signaled to the universe, I take this seriously, right? Okay. Oh, here's another recommendation by L. You can also read a book on accessing your own Akashic records. That's true. So I also teach that. I have a course on how to access your own Akashic records. You can find it on my website. And there are other people that have books on the topic, or courses that you can take. I'm trying to put my URL in the thing. All right, so that's my website, drvestmedicalintuitive.com. I do have a course you can take, an online course, to learn how to access your own records. And then, yeah, there's a number of books out there that you can read on the topic. Oh, here's another recommendation from Deborah Berry. It must be a hypnotherapist. Mary Truitt, trained by Dolores Cannon and Brian Weiss. Oh, she was trained by both. That's very impressive. So I don't know Mary Truitt, but that sounds good. Oh, here's a question from Jean Gillette. Is it like cheating to go to your pre-life meeting? Well, I hope not, because if so, I've helped a lot of people cheat. So I used to do life purpose sessions for people, where I would go to the Akashic records, and we would find out what their purpose was by sitting in the pre-life meeting. And I would basically listen in, and then relay it to the client. Oh, this is what you said. This is what the guide said. This is the plan. This is why. So let me answer that more substantively. So a lot of us were born, we forget, right? We forget our purpose. We forget why we came. We forget what our soul contracts are with other people. We forget a lot of things, right? We have this veil of forgetting. And so it might lead us to believe that forgetting is a necessary part of incarnation. That hasn't been my understanding. I think it's a necessary part for most people, but not for all people. And so there are some people who do, in fact, remember their purpose and do, in fact, remember their past lives or their karma. So as a child, I remembered my past lives, and I, in fact, wrote a bunch of them down once, and I found it when I was like a little bit older. And I had just listed all of my past lives and how I died, right? Who I was and how I died. Because I would be shown this at night when I would leave my body. My guides would come and take me to school, and they would tell me different things. And so I was told that I had a purpose. I was told that I had, lived many times. I was taught a lot of things. And that's because I was sent here to help the planet evolve. You might call me a light worker. I came here to help shift the consciousness, and I happen to have been allowed to remember things, and I've had guides my whole life teaching me about who I am and my purpose and my background and my connection to other star systems, right? And there are lots of other people like me, right, who do remember, who do know, who did incarnate with that knowledge. And then there are other people who may not quite remember, but they remember enough to know, I know that there's something that I'm forgetting, right? And that's a different kind of memory, right? There's something I'm forgetting that I think would be helpful to remember. And so those people will tend to come to see someone like me or some hypnotherapist, or they'll read a book, right? They'll go on a journey of seeking, because they want to know. They know that there's something there that they don't quite remember, that they want to remember. And so whenever anyone helps you unearth your purpose, it should always be something that when you hear it, you're like, oh, right, now I remember. Yes, right? Because it's actually something that subconsciously, or your higher self knows, but your current incarnation doesn't remember, or maybe you just kind of only vaguely remember it, right? And so the role of people like myself who do that type of work is just to kind of jog people's memories, kind of to jog your cosmic memory. Oh, yeah, that's why I came, right? So, yeah, everybody's not going to seek that out, and everybody doesn't need to know what their purpose is. But if you're somebody who wants to know, then you're one of the people that needs to know. Right? Just like if you're someone who feels like you're a starseed, then you're a starseed. Because a lot of other people are walking around and they're not thinking that. They're not thinking they're starseeds. They're not thinking that their life has a purpose. They're not thinking that they have karma to resolve. They're not thinking that. And that's because their particular life path, soul path, does not require that they have that awareness in order for them to fulfill their purpose, right? I've been getting this question for years. Yeah, so I stopped doing personal sessions a few years ago, and I don't know the answer to this question. That's why I can't answer it, because my guides, they're in charge, and right now they want me doing what they call global work. And so one-on-one work is not global work. It's really rewarding. I love it, but it's not global work. And so right now, the only work I can do has to be the type of work that's going to have global impact. So I'm allowed to write books. I'm allowed to, teach classes that have a kind of a global audience. And I'm allowed to do this type of online work because it reaches a global audience. But I'm not allowed to do one-on-one sessions right now. And so I do really miss it. And I wish I could say soon, because I loved it. I love working with people one-on-one. I do now teach people how to do what I do. So like I teach medical intuition. I worked as a medical intuitive for many years. I helped a lot of individual clients, and now I teach people. And so I'm helping people indirectly that way. And I also teach people how to read the records. I've also taught mediumship. I've taught a lot of things. I've taught ancestral medicine. And so I'm kind of indirectly working with people now, right? I'm teaching people to help other people. Oh, I just got a review, so I'm going to put my book up. I am Eloa read my book, Ethical Psychic. They think it's terrific. I'll take that review. It also has good reviews on Goodreads if you want to check those out. And then the book I put out last year, I didn't put it out. It was published by this press, Peter Lang. But it's called Sovereign Wisdom. This is a philosophy book about Native American philosophy. It is an academic book, but I wrote it in a way that I think is accessible to people who are not academics. So it's written in a way that anyone can read it, in my opinion. But, tell me if I'm wrong. Where can you get the books? You can get them. So when it comes to Ethical Psychic, you can just get it everywhere. You can get it at Barnes & Noble, Powell's Bookstore, Bookshop online, independent bookstore. You can get it on Amazon, of course. Anywhere you get your books, you can get it, because it's from what's called a commercial press, a trade press. So they put it everywhere. Whereas Sovereign Wisdom, because it's an academic book, it's marketed to academics. So you can get it on Amazon. And there are a lot of bookshops that carry academic books, but they don't carry it, for example, in Barnes & Noble in the stores, because it's academic and it's too expensive, but they carry it online. So you can get it at Barnes & Noble online, Amazon, and around the world, it's at different bookshops. Like I know it's at a lot of bookshops in the UK, but I don't remember the names of them. But basically, you have to go wherever they sell academic books, unless you want to go to Barnes & Noble or Amazon. Oh, nice. So this person says, Golden Tara says that they're reading Sovereign Wisdom right now. Oh, I'd love a review. If you're reading my books, please review them somewhere. Goodreads, Barnes & Noble, wherever, Amazon, wherever you bought them. I would love your review. And I would also just love to hear what you think about it. Oh, look, Jaden says Books a Million has both. We don't have Books a Million here, but I've seen that when I've lived in other parts of the country. That's in the South, right? Books a Million, or this is the Midwest. I've lived in every part of this country. Um, it's on Amazon. Oh yeah, it's also. Oh, so Golden Tara got it in the library. Yeah, I know some university library. You can also ask your library to order it. Especially if you're at a university, I would like everyone to order it for their library. Um, so if you don't, it is expensive. So I kind of feel embarrassed even telling people about sovereign wisdom. I haven't really promoted it because it's expensive. I don't have anything to do with the price. And of course, the money doesn't really, I don't really get much in the way of money for this. It goes to the publisher. But that's not why I wrote it. I wrote it because I want people to understand the ideas of this, all of these Native American philosophical beliefs that I think are relevant and can be useful for a lot of organizations and movements. That's why I wrote it. Oh yeah. Oh, let's talk about this. Change of topic. Also, if you want to ask me a questions and make a donation at the same time, you can do the super chat, and then there's some other one, super question, or there's another way to ask to make a donation too. So let's deal with this with a little change of topic. So Rossi is asking, is telling us that they found more people bought tickets to the circus in Miami and Palm Beach than actually lived there. So for those of you who follow me, the circus refers to the regime, and tickets refers to what we did in November. We have to speak in code because free speech is something we used to have, and we've all had to adapt. So I tell stories, and I tell stories about the circus and the head clown and various other characters. And so what what Rossi is referring to is that there's this organization ETA, and there's another one called Smart Contests. And they've been analyzing all the data from the machines, and they keep finding all of these irregularities. And so the newest batch of data that they've been talking about is coming out of South Florida, where it turns out that there were precincts where the total tally for tickets exceeded the total tally of registered ticket buyers. You get my meaning, right? So clear shenanigans, right? So this is yet another example, and I'm very excited about this because for those who haven't been following me, I started in November of last year talking about the fact that the circus was, in fact, people did not actually buy tickets to the circus. People bought tickets for the sultry, soulful singer named Lotus Queen. But the circus was able to come to town because of some shenanigans that involved some wealthy merchants, especially Starboy and his satellites. And so since that time, a lot of us have been like trying to figure out, when is this going to come out? When is the truth going to come out? And what we are seeing is that there's more and more data coming out from these two organizations, ETA and SMART. There's more and more information coming out, which suggests just a lot of irregularities. And this is for entertainment purposes only, YouTube. I'm not claiming to factually know what happened in these precincts. I'm just talking about what has been reported and what, this follower of mine, Rossi, is bringing up. Got to do our disclaimers. So yeah, I think it's really exciting. I have been told that the truth is going to come out. I really didn't think it was going to take this long. And this is the funny thing about precognition. Maybe I should talk about for a minute. I have, guides, and they show me things that happen in the future, and then they come to pass. And I'm not always right? I'm not 100% accurate. You're not going to find any psychic who is. Even 90% accurate is very rare. But I'm accurate enough that it's a reliable, I find it to be a reliable gift that I can use to help people. And so I've been using that gift since November to try to help people navigate the situation that we find ourselves in. And one of the things that I was told that I've just been thinking about lately, um, it's like I get told these things, and then a lot of time goes by, and I totally forget about it. And then something happens, and I'm like, oh yeah. So one of the things they said was, it could not be revealed by the blue hats, and it could not be revealed by the Lotus Queen. It could not be revealed by Joe, right? That it had to be revealed. Um, I was told it was going to be revealed by the circus themselves, and like a type of confession. And I don't see any sign of that happening. So I understand. So if you're listening to me saying that sounds crazy, I don't think so. I agree with you. It sounds crazy. However, something happened recently that gave me a little bit of hope that maybe that prediction might come to pass. And that was that someone said that Lotus Queen is like putting out an olive branch to Starboy. I guess she did an interview or something, and she was trying to like make peace with him or something, which some people were very upset about, like, how can you do that? But then I heard this theory, oh, maybe she's trying to, since he's on the outs with the circus, with the head clown, right? Starboy and the head clown used to be, best buds, and now they're, like angry exes. And so one idea someone said that to me felt like, oh, this might fit in with what I was told, was that maybe, the blue hats are going to approach him about, confessing, in exchange for something, right? I would think in exchange for staying, get out of jail free card. But someone just added to this story. Let me put your little comment up here. It's Becca again. Starboy just tweeted. Was this recent? Head clown is done. I did it before. I can do it again. um, yeah, circus self-revelation. Yeah, so Dharma Punk says, oh, the circus is full of clowns, so they will confess on accident. I mean, they have confessed a number of times, right? They've confessed to, there were a number of confessions made, but they weren't explicit enough. So is that it? Okay. Oh, no. I don't understand that. There's some funny comments. That's what I'm laughing at. I want to put this sweet comment up. Thank you, Heart's Desire. I send you and every soul many blessings, lots of love and light always. I love that. Thank you. This really is what we have to do. So thank you for reminding me, Heart's Desires. We're really challenged right now to embody love and to embrace our neighbors in a loving way. And this is part of the lesson, right? That we're all getting right now. We're seeing our neighbors being, kidnapped and mistreated. And whenever you're a witness to what's the right word? Whenever you're a witness to suffering, that's always an opportunity, right? That's always an opportunity. How am I gonna respond to that? So like right now, there's this talk of, SNAP benefits being taken away, and there's 40 million people who rely on those to eat. And so we could be in a situation where 40 million people are hungry. And so this is giving us an opportunity, those of us who don't rely on SNAP benefits, who have food in our cupboards and who have an income, who are able-bodied and able to buy our own food, like we're being given an opportunity to address that, right? Are we going to start donating to food banks? Are we going to start feeding our neighbors? Are we going to start engaging in mutual aid societies where we all pitch in just a couple dollars each? Because, some of us don't have a lot of money, but if like 100 of us each put in a couple dollars, we might be able to feed a family in our neighborhood, right? So there's a lot of ways that we can help, and this can bring us together, right? This can be yet another thing that unifies us. I mean, that's the thing about suffering, is sometimes suffering is what brings us together, you know. I remember when I was in Florida years ago, and I had just arrived, and we had this horrible Hurricane Charlie. It was 2004, and it was the first really bad hurricane that Florida had had in a long time, and so people weren't really prepared. They had just gotten comfortable thinking, oh, these are just hurricane warnings, nothing's going to happen. And it was really bad, and there was no infrastructure to take care of it. We didn't have the Red Cross, like no one came to help us. And so people had to rely on each other. And so, neighbors came together. People like emptied all the food out of their freezer and cooked it on the grill and invited the whole neighborhood to come over and eat and fed each other. People were very kind. And so this is the opportunity that we have when something like this happens. We have an opportunity to be of service, to come together, to see ourselves in each other. I think I'm missing some convo in the chat. Yeah, so like here's a person that needs assistance, catnap. They won't be able to buy food without their benefits. Yeah, we need mutual aid societies. Now, it is the case that there's a disproportionate correlation between SNAP benefits and people who voted for the circus. I was just looking at some stats for that yesterday. And so it's unfortunate. It's another example of FAFO, right? People voted for someone who doesn't care about them and for someone who's now going to make them suffer. So yeah, donate to your food banks. Okay, I was trying to catch up on the Star Boy. So was that a tweet from recently? So this tweet that Becca we were just talking about, that Starboy tweeted, Trump is done. I did it before, I can do it again. And then there's something here saying that I don't read something. I am the ethical psychic. Oh, the question was, is it on audio? I think. Yeah, it's on. Ethical Psychic is on audio, but yeah, I don't read it. So, when I was getting it published and the publisher said, oh, we're going to do an ebook, an audio book and all this. And I just assumed they were going to have me read it because I'm a public speaker. I'm a poet. I do a lot of public speaking. And I was like, oh, okay, you want me to read it? And they're like, no, we have professionals for that. And I was really hurt. I was like, well, what am I, chopped liver? And all my friends, and relatives and stuff were all like, I can't believe they're not going to let you read it. We want to hear you read it. Blah, blah, blah. Well, they had 3 actresses audition and they let me pick. And I picked the one that they chose. Her name is Cindy Kay, and she's so good. And I realized when the book was done, she's better than me. And so I'm really grateful that they hired a professional. But maybe my next book will be narrated by me. It turns out, I guess, you got to be famous before they let you narrate your own book. I didn't know this. And so I'm not really famous yet. So I guess maybe one day. Okay, look at this. Abby Yandel. I remember you, Abby Yandel. I've seen you on my in my comments a lot. And I always remember your name because I had a student named Yandel. When I was a professor, I used to call all my students by their last name. And I would call them Scholar and then their last name. So I had a student called Scholar Yandel. And I can't remember their first name, but it was similar to yours. I remember thinking, oh, this sounds just like my student. That their first name was, I don't know. And so Abby Yando's wanting us to know that they're 66, they're retired, and they were homeless 3 years ago, and they help their neighbors and go to the People's Parade. So thank you, Abby Yando, for your service. We all have things that we can do. Iris is here. One of my hi Iris. This is one of my moderators who I met over on TikTok, and now she's over here with me on YouTube. Thank you for showing up, Iris. So it wasn't a recent tweet. Okay, that's disappointing. We were talking about the tweet from Starboy. I was hoping it was a recent tweet, but they're still not friends, right? I'm listening. Another comment that's just hilarious. Jaden says, I wouldn't listen to it because I didn't let you read it. It's your book. But I'm telling you, Cindy K, she's really good. If you're into audiobooks, I don't like audiobooks because I can read faster than I can listen. And so audiobooks kind of annoy me. Although someone told me you can speed it up, but then that's probably not enjoyable, right? I mean, I do speed up all my YouTube videos when I watch them. I really like to listen to all my YouTube videos really fast. But thank you, everybody, for the work that you're doing for everybody. Oh, thank you, Stacy. They said your voice is so nice. Thank you. My publisher didn't think so, apparently. One day I'll get to. I'm working on another book right now. I'm working on a book about medical intuition and about healthcare. What's wrong with healthcare, your health disparities, how women are disproportionately impacted by chronic illness, and how the research is on men and not women, and it's not on chronic illness, and how people of color are also not in the research studies, and how they are also disproportionately suffering from illnesses that don't have treatments. Right. So I kind of address that. And then I talk about medical intuition as a fix. Like, we need to bring the medical intuitives into mainstream medicine and have them work with other healthcare providers so that we can provide more accurate diagnosis, more reliable information about people's illnesses. Because intuition isn't biased. Intuition isn't looking at skin color and gender and sexuality and class, right? I'm just going to post this up for my own. Such a beautiful soul. Do more of these. I will do more of these. I did one yesterday. I enjoyed it so much. I said, I'm going to do another live tonight. I didn't really announce it. I know I got to get better at that. I announced it yesterday. Today I didn't. I'm going to get better at announcing. I did make a little picture for it. But I do really enjoy coming on here. And, I didn't see the super chat. I don't know if this is a super chat, but it's like when someone donates with a question. Oh, I'm sorry, I missed your super chat from Rossi. I already answered this, didn't I? Okay, you might not have been here, so I'll answer it since you did a super chat. So for those who don't know, I don't know if this is a super chat or if it's just called I don't know what it's called, but you can make a donation, and then when I see that, I try to answer your question first. And it looks like there's another one up there that I might have missed. So I'll get to your 888 one next. So Rossi, what do you do to be and maintain high vibrations? The ups and downs prevent us to connect more to our guides. I think that's what you're saying. A few typos. Yeah, I'm very fortunate in that, as soon as the joust happened, I got very clear guidance that I was supposed to start doing this work, coming online all the time, helping people stay hopeful, providing guidance about what I'm seeing and, what happened, what's going to happen. And so that's helped me to maintain a positive attitude. I do sometimes get very sad about what I see in the world, very angry. So it's not that I don't struggle with that. I do. And so one of the things, of course, that really helps is to meditate as much as possible, and also to be in nature. Also being around animals helps. My dog died last year, and so I had to endure this without him. But what I do now is I carry milk bones around and I feed all the dogs in the neighborhood. And that just allows me to have that really healing contact with those dogs. I find it really raises your vibration to be around animals. And then also being in nature, I do yoga in the park, so I'm outside. I also play sports outside. And I also just go for walks on a regular basis just to be in nature. And, if there's just a park nearby that you can go to, or if you have a backyard, um, you know, I don't have a yard. I live in an apartment, but I can just walk to the park. And so that's what I do. That helps to raise your vibration. Um, and then also, we can get caught up in spending too much time reading, not reading, but watching the news. And so I do try to kind of curate what I look at. Like I used to watch a lot of news, and I do have to keep up with the news because it's a part of my work right now. My purpose right now is to help people navigate the bad news. So that means I have to familiarize myself. And so, I do these funny kind of skits now that I call Metatron's News, where I talk about the news in like a funny way. But what I do is I focus on the good news. And so I do limit my exposure to news. So I only look at news in certain formats. And I started doing this a while ago where, I stopped watching TV news because TV news is sensational, right? It's meant to kind of get our blood pressure up. It's like, it's full technicolor. And so I switched from visual news not visual, from, what do you call that? Television or moving news, I guess, to reading. And so I get all of my, not that's not true. Now I do watch TikToks and YouTube videos and I get news that way, but I get it from only from people that I want to get it from. And then I read stuff like Substack and Ground News and, because it's more palatable when you read it than if you're having to listen to it and see it and use all your senses. That can be more overwhelming. And so if you are getting some of your news, on TikTok or YouTube, just limit that and mix it up. Like I watch a lot of videos of animals on YouTube and TikTok. Like I watch a lot of videos of bulldogs because I used to have a bulldog and I miss him. And so I just watch bulldogs because they're so silly. And then I watch like nature conservatory animal rescue videos because it's uplifting. And so just like, you gotta balance it, right? If you spend a part of your day watching the news and you hear all these horrible things that are happening to us as a nation, you then have to kind of cleanse your aura by watching something that's uplifting, right? Like animal videos or, a sci-fi movie where no one dies. Right? Like something really upbeat. So I find I have to keep balancing it. And then I also, phone a friend. Like, remember during the pandemic when we were all dealing with being so isolated and how scary it was that there was this pandemic and people were dying, and especially people in certain communities, like in my communities, people were dying at really high rates. And so like Native Americans were dying at such high rates during the pandemic, and Black and Latinx people were dying at high rates. And it was hard, right? It was hard to watch. And so I, started doing the phone a friend every day, where every day I would call somebody, either on the phone or on Zoom, somebody who wasn't in distress, right? So sometimes we have friends we're always trying to help. So don't call them every day. They might wear you out. But, call somebody who's at your level, right? Who's going to talk to them, is going to cheer you up. It's going to make you feel connected. Somebody that, respects you, that kind of thing. I thought there was another, see, now it's gone. Maybe I already put, if you did a super chat for 888 and I didn't already answer your question, I don't know. Can you put it in the chat? Because it's gone now. But there was like oh, is that it? Oh, here we go. Heart's Desires. Thank you for your super chat. Love and light to every soul and living being on this planet, out into the universe. We are all in this together. Thank you for those wonderful words. That's exactly right. We got to remember that, that we're all in this together, and we gotta be there for each other. Um, I do find, and really this is also answering the previous question some more, that being in community really helps at this time. And there's different ways to be in community. For a while, I was involved in a feminist organization. We were doing different activism, like anti frozen water activism. I'm in Los Angeles, so we've been dealing with pretty violent frozen water activities for many, many months now. And so I was doing some work around that, and I was doing some other work, and that got to be too much for me. And my guides told me to stop doing that and then just focus on the online work, that this is helping more people than the work I was doing at boots on the ground. And so that's the thing too. If you're an activist, you have to take breaks, right? If you're like dealing with, the suffering of others, trying to help people who are suffering, you have to take breaks from that, self-care, so that you can keep going. And so that's another way that I keep my vibration up, by, being in community, but not always being in service in community. Like sometimes you just want to be in community. So like, for example, right now I joined a couple of little sports clubs, and, we're not like serious athletes. It's a real mixture. It's all women. It's a mixture of backgrounds. And I hadn't played these sports in decades. So first couple times I went out to play soccer or basketball, I was struggling. And and now after playing for a while, I'm a little better, and it's just so much fun. It's not, we don't keep score. We don't. Some people try to keep score, but we laugh at them, because like we had this new person this week, and they kept saying, "What's the score? What's the score?" And everyone's like, "We don't care. We're not here to compete. We're here to have fun, right?" And what I find is so wonderful about it is it's just low, what's the word? It's community without a lot of work, right? I don't have to do anything. I just show up, I run around, and I have a good time. And it's just very nice to be in community and to be outside. I mean, I'm in a place where we can be outside. If you're like in Chicago, it might be cold for you to be outside. I grew up in Chicago, but I don't know. I don't think is it that cold yet? Might be. But go play ping pong. And I was a kid growing up in Chicago. We played ping pong all winter in the basement. That was our winter sport. I mean, we did sledding and tobogganing and all that too, ice skating. But we also did, just play cards. We played cards a lot. You could get together with your friends and play cards. Like just find some community work to do, find a way to have fun and be with people, to just, help you recover from everything we're going through. And, because like during those couple hours that I'm out there playing with these other women, we don't talk politics, and these women, most of us are, a lot of us are people of color. Our communities are being directly impacted. We're queer. It's terrifying, right? There's a lot of things happening in the world that are terrifying for us personally and affecting us directly. And yet we have to take a break from that. We can't be all the time thinking and talking about, all this stuff that's going on in the world is terrible. No, you got to take time out. You got to be, have some joy. You got to, have fun, be with people, or find a way to be of service that's not too stressful for you. And then that really helps you to keep your vibration up. That was the original question for those who just joined us, was, how do we keep our vibration up in the midst of the apocalypse? I started just using the word apocalypse all the time, in part to be funny, but also just because it's the facts, right? We're in an apocalypse, and let's not pretend we don't know what's going on, right? And I don't know, I think it's kind of liberating, because I don't know. We use that term, and I've heard that term used in different contexts: religious, non-religious. We've had a lot of people talking about for many years, oh, the world's going to end, or this terrible thing's going to happen, or what, right? All these predictions of doom. And so here now we're in it. We're in the doom. We're in the doom, And you know what? We're handling it. And so it kind of takes some of the sting out of that whole kind of fearful, fear-mongering predictions of all the bad things that are going to happen in the future by saying, you know what, we're in the apocalypse right now. Okay, we're in it. We're surviving. Some of us are thriving. Some of us are still laughing. We're finding a way, right? We're coming together. We're unifying. I mean, the unity that I've seen, yes, the unity that I've seen, I think is just phenomenal. People are coming together in ways that they haven't in the past. And I think that's very inspiring. Yes, art. Thank you for bringing that up, Jordan. I left out art. I also think that art is really helpful in any form. Like I like to vision board and, I draw and stuff. But if you want to do it as a group thing, I sometimes have people come over and we do vision boarding together. We just get a bunch of old magazines. You can go to the library and get some old magazines. Sometimes they'll just give you some, or a thrift store, or, someone's grandma has them in the basement. Ask your neighbors if they have any old magazines, or ask everybody to bring magazines and just do vision boarding together. It's a lot of fun. Or just draw or knit or crochet. I was just at an art store with my sister, and I was like, we really should do some more crafts together, because we used to do a lot of crafts together. And, doing crafts together is it's really helpful for raising your vibration, helping you manage your nervous system while we're going through all this. So Eli, or L, not Eli. It's also helpful to create a vision board of what you want to imagine your life to be. I guess I assumed that was assumed. I left that part out. I just assumed everyone knew it. Yeah, the whole point of a vision board is to, create the world you want to see in your vision board. And so this is something that I've been told that we all need to be doing, is envisioning our country the way we want it to look and what we're working towards, right? Instead of focusing so much on what's wrong with it right now, let's focus our attention on what it's going to look like when, we fix it and when we, get through this. And so if we all together are envisioning our country, and this is I'm speaking to the United States people right now. So I know some of you are probably not from the United States, but you can do this for your country too. And for the world, whatever is going on in your country or whatever is going on in the world, I mean, we're all kind of in it right now, right? I mean, we're in the belly of the beast over here in the US, but everybody's being impacted by the bad breath of the beast. So we all can envision how we want things to be different in the future, and what we're bringing into reality. I love this, Deborah. Rescued a cicada from a spider web, and that made me feel better. Didn't make the spider feel better. They were like, that was dinner. I'm just playing around with you. I'm sure the cicada was quite grateful. Anything we can do. Anything we can do for each other, anything we can do together is going to make us feel better. Oh yeah, painting mandalas. Shiny, that's also really helpful. I remember for a while, I think it was during the pandemic, they were putting out all these adult coloring books, like at Barnes and Noble and online. And I did used to get those mandala ones for my class when I was teaching psychic development. I would sometimes have my students, color the mandalas, because it's a form of meditation. If you focus on a mandala, it can help you meditate and connect, get information from your guides. And so it's very relaxing, and it can help you connect to paint a mandala, or just to color it with crayons or markers or whatever. Oh, look, This person rescued a green lizard. Thankful to be a steward of life and our earth. That's nice. Yeah, I feed the squirrels outside on my porch, and they're all little mama squirrels right now. They all have babies, and I really enjoy that. Straight wisdom with Jessica has some straight wisdom for us. Regulate your nervous system, meditate, set intention to connect, ask for signs, and pay attention. I second that message. Ooh, an owl. Kathleen O'Malley. I am also an owl. Older, wiser lesbian. I love that. Oh, someone is mentioning Ask the Spirit Guides with Karen. I like her. It's one of my mutuals, another psychic on YouTube. I also like Libby from Meister Tarot. Vina. It's spelled Vinia. I forget what her channel is called. I also like her work. Oh, Iris left. I didn't see Iris leave. Bye, Iris. If you're already, I don't know if you're already gone. Oh, well, we're at that time again. It's almost an hour and 40 minutes. Have I studied physics? Yes, I have. So I did my first degree in physics, my first college degree. I have 3 degrees. And I did my senior thesis in astrophysics, theoretical astrophysics. My project was on the solar neutrino. Back then, they were studying the solar neutrino to try to understand the center of the sun, the interior of the sun, and they were doing that to try to understand stellar physics in general, because the sun is our closest star. And so, yeah, that's where I started, is in astrophysics. I was actually a double major in philosophy, and I went on to get a degree in history, and then I did a PhD in philosophy, and then I was a philosophy professor for many years. And then I left academia to become a full-time healer, medical intuitive, and I also write books and teach. So yeah, I kind of come at things from a lot of different perspectives. I like the logical approach. I like the empirical approach. I like the intuitive approach. And then I also like the historical context. This is a question I've been getting. Vahida Spiodik. Spiodik. Is there a connection with 3i Atlas and the Hopi Blue Star Kachina prophecy? So I've gotten this question. I am not familiar with the Hopi Blue Star Kachina prophecy. I've been meaning to look it up. There are a lot of prophecies, a lot of indigenous prophecies. But I'm not familiar with that one. Okay, so I'm about to close pretty soon. What was I? Something I was supposed to say at the end. Please like and subscribe. The promotional stuff. I have a Patreon. If you join my Patreon, I do behind the scenes videos where I talk about things that I don't talk about online. And if you support me in that way, then it just helps me to stay focused on this work and not be stressed about bills. Just the supplemental income helps. But it's also nice to be in community. I think you can also be a member on my YouTube channel. And I just opened up memberships, so I'm new to some of these features on YouTube. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a members only event. So I'm working on that. I'm going to do that pretty soon. So yeah, if you join as a member, you'll be able to get some of that. There's other perks. I'm supposed to know the perks, but I don't remember all the perks. You get like a little special emoji, and then like it tells me that you're a member. And so when I'm going through my comments on my videos, I try to read. I used to read all my comments. I must admit that lately I've been making more videos. I'm having a harder time reading all of them, but I eventually read them all. But now I don't read them all the same day. And so as I'm going through and reading all the comments, I will respond to some of them. I'll like all of the ones I read. And then if I see one is by a member, then I will make a point of answering the question. Um, oh, Alma, did any of us think that our life was going to have a Mad Max chapter? Oh my God, I hated that film too. But basically what she's talking about is a dystopic future, right? A dystopic future. I remember, this is one last little story before I sign off. I remember when it first happened in November, and I remember thinking, I've already been through too much. I've already survived enough in this life. I don't think I should have to go through this too. You know, like, isn't this supposed to be the golden years of my life? You know, I'm done struggling and now I'm, more spiritually involved, emotionally more mature, like a little more settled. Like, isn't this supposed to be the, the happy days? No, turns out, no, not for any of us. But also, yes, because what it is we all signed up for this. And this is the part that is hard to remember sometimes, or we can lose track of. But as souls, we all chose to incarnate so that our lifespan would coincide with what's happening on the planet right now. And so whenever you start thinking, oh, I shouldn't have to go through this, oh, this isn't fair, oh, this is so hard, just remember that your soul signed up for this for a reason. And we're all growing through this. When we go through hard times, it really allows us to grow emotionally and spiritually as people. And so we're all growing, but we're all also being given an opportunity to help others. And that's why I think a lot of us chose to incarnate at this time, because incarnating through this apocalypse allows us to be of service. It allows us to help people. It allows us to step fully onto our own path, to get clear about who we are. I mean, there's nothing like an apocalypse to like put everything in perspective, right? Get rid of some people in your life that just, you realize you don't have time for that nonsense anymore, right? To get rid of some habits, to get rid of some things, to right? It's causing us to really focus and to get clarity about what's important. And so we're all growing through this. And just keep reminding yourself of that. And if you don't feel like that makes sense to you, like, why would I sign up for this? Then, ask in meditation, or ask for a dream to explain to you, ask your higher self, go into meditation and ask, why did I incarnate right now? What did I incarnate to do? Why now? Why did I choose this time period? What's my role in all this? Right. And when you get an answer, it's going to make it a lot easier for you to manage whatever is going on right now, because you're going to have that sense of purpose. So I strongly encourage you to tap into that, that reason. Why are you here now? Why did you choose to go through this, right? Because we're not victims of this. We are participants. We are participants. So, so thank you, everybody, for coming to my live. Thank you for watching my videos, liking and commenting. I appreciate all your comments. And those of you who subscribe and who are members, I appreciate you too. And everyone do well. And who knows, I might be on tomorrow again, because I'm just really enjoying this. If there are certain things you want me to talk about in a live, I should have asked this earlier, and now it's kind of late. You can put comments on my videos and say, oh, can you do a live on this topic? And I will, you can also just come to the live, and you see I answer a lot of questions. So if you want to ask about something, I'll probably answer it. So I will see you next time. Good night.